On this week's episode of Rambler Sports Locker, we have the updates on the world of sports, from volleyball to basketball to baseball.
All of this and more coming up next.
Welcome back to Rambler Sports Locker. I'm RSL reporter Chloe Morrissey.
And I'm RSL reporter Amelia Villhauer. The NBA All-Star Game is a basketball tradition that started back in 1951 and is a mid-season showdown between the best players from each conference in an East versus West format. Some of the players that have taken home an All-Star MVP award from the event include Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Kevin Durant. Here to tell us more about all that went on this past weekend is RSL reporter Nate Keough.
The NBA All-Star Game and its additional events took place this past weekend in Cleveland. The festivities began Friday night with the Celebrity Game, followed immediately by the Rising Stars Challenge, where the NBA's top first and second year players face off. The event diverged from its typical one-game format in favor of a four-team tournament. Team Barry, coached by Hall of Famer Rick Barry, won. The team was led by Detroit Pistons rookie point guard Cade Cunningham, who was named MVP of the tournament. The Skills Challenge, three-point contest, and dunk contest took place on Saturday night. In the Skills Challenge, a trio of members of the hometown Cavaliers defeated a team of rookies and a team of the Antetokounmpo brothers to take home the prize. The three-point contest was won by Minnesota Timberwolves center Karl Anthony Towns, who defeated Luke Kennard of the Los Angeles Clippers and Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks in the final round. Towns scored a record 29 points in the final round and became just the second big man ever to win the contest. New York Knicks forward Obi Toppin was this year's dunk contest champion, edging out Juan Toscano Anderson of the Golden State Warriors in the final round. The dunk contest received some criticism this year for not living up to the thrill and entertainment levels of past dunk contests. It remains unclear whether or not the NBA will revamp the event for next year. A weekend of exciting events closed with the NBA All-Star Game Sunday night. Team LeBron squeezed past Team Durant with a 163-160 victory. Warriors guard Steph Curry took center stage, knocking down an All-Star Game record 16 threes, several of which came from well beyond the three-point line. The Chef finished with a game-high 50 points and was named the game's MVP. With the game on the line, LeBron James knocked down a game-winning turnaround jumper to seal the victory. How fitting that with the All-Star Game in Cleveland, it was none other than the kid from Akron who hit the game winner. The Bulls had three players participate in this weekend's events, including two All-Stars. Forward DeMar DeRozan started for Team LeBron, and guard Zach LaVine was part of the reserves for Team Durant. LaVine also participated in the three-point contest Saturday. Rookie Ayo Dosunmu was a part of the Rising Stars Challenge on Friday. Overall, the weekend was jam-packed with games and events that basketball fans everywhere appreciated. For RSL, I'm Nate Keough.
Thanks, Nate.
With MLB spring training right around the corner, RSL reporter Tori Van Arsdale gives us some important updates for what spring training will look like for the Chicago Cubs.
The Chicago Cubs 2022 spring training season is being delayed due to the ongoing MLB lockout. The MLB and the Players Union are not seeing eye to eye when it comes to labor negotiations. Spring games are scheduled to resume March 5th, but with this setback, another postponement is expected. The Cubs have continued to work despite the lockout as they begin their mini camp at Sloan Park in Phoenix. The mini league camps have returned to somewhat normalcy since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2020, it was canceled, and last year it was delayed for single A and double A players due to COVID-19 safety measures. But this is not the case for the big league camps. So far this season, Sloan Park has been absent of the major league players on the Cubs' 40-man roster. This is expected to stay that way as long as the lockout continues. If games were to continue as scheduled, the Cubs will be facing teams such as the Brewers, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Angels, and the White Sox starting next week on Saturday, March 5th. Until then, we can only hope an agreement is met, and soon we'll be watching Major League Spring Training Baseball. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Tori Van Arsdale.
Thanks, Tori.
We've had plenty of talk about all things happening in the world of sports, but perhaps we've neglected the fashionable side of it. RSL reporter Lucas Kihmm is here to tell us more about his thoughts on how Loyola athletes are dressing for games.
Fashion designer Ralph Lauren said, "It's easier to follow fashion than it is to have personal style." For this week's episode of Rambler Sports Locker, I'm introducing a new segment called Drip or Drown, where we look at the Loyola athletes in action and determine if they're a drip or a drown. Let's get straight into it. Number 1, I'm starting off this list with men's basketball power forward Ahir Ugwak. He always wears either a black or white Nike headband to soak up all the work he puts on the court. As usual, he has his left compression tied on to give him an up on other players. Finally, I give him extra points for repping the number 30 on his jersey, a number worn by NBA All-Star Stephen Curry. Meanwhile, senior women's cross-country runner Annika Marin always makes her presence known on the course. At every race, she loves to show her school spirit with the Rambler logo tattooed on her left cheek. And to top things off, she always has a photo finish smile and puts up the Rambler sign as she steps over the finish line. She is a definite drip to me. That wraps up this week's episode of Drip or Drown. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Lucas Kihmm.
Thanks, Lucas.
As we're in the midst of the Loyola men's volleyball season, RSL reporter Gabbi Lumma is here with all of the latest news.
The Loyola men's volleyball team is off to an exciting start in the MIVA play after beating 2 ranked teams on the road back-to-back. The team's conference record is now 4-0. The Ramblers are one of only 23 Division I and II teams in the country and are now ranked number 14 after winning their last 4 games. The 2 games which put the Ramblers back in the top 15 were against number 15 Ohio State University and number 8 Ball State. On February 17th, the Ramblers took down Ohio State in a 5-set battle. Redshirt freshman and opposite hitter Parker Van Buren led the team with 27 kills and a .431 hitting percentage, followed by redshirt senior setter Garrett Zolg with 44 assists. The Ramblers next played at Ball State on February 19th, where they beat the Cardinals in 3-1. In arguably one of the team's biggest wins of the season, Zolg added another 44 assists and a 1.0 hitting percentage, setting up Van Buren for 22 more kills. The win put the Ramblers in the top spot of the MIVA. Though the road wins were big for the team, they did not come easy.
2 ranked teams, really happy. We duked it out with both of them in 4 and 5, so they didn't make it easy for us whatsoever. And it was great that we could come out on top. 5-set games are always tough, and it's a really big confidence booster when we win those. And then beating 7th ranked Ball State in 4 was huge. After dropping that first set, we kind of battled back and felt really good.
Really important road wins, I think, for sure. I don't have a crystal ball, but down the line, winning games on the road in our conference ends up being pretty important. And so, good teams that we got to beat. But I think we're a pretty good team too. And so, we were obviously happy with the outcome.
The team returns to Gentile Arena on Saturday, February 26th to host their rivals, Lewis University, at 7 p.m. For the Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Gabbi Lumma.
Thanks, Gabbi.
The Loyola men's basketball team took down Evansville 81-32 in their home closer last night. Andrea Barone has the highlights.
I'm reporting here at Gentile Arena, where the Ramblers just defeated Evansville with a final score of 82-31. It was also senior night here in Rogers Park, so it's fitting that senior Ahir Ugwak was the leading scorer with 9 points at the end of the first. The Ramblers held the Purple Aces to 12 points at the end of the half. But it was Will Alcock who stole the show in the second half. The walk-on senior shot 100% from behind the arc with 2 back-to-back threes. He led the Ramblers in scoring with 9 points at the end of the second half and was named the State Farm Great Performer of the game. Alcock was not the only senior to shine tonight. All 7 of Loyola's seniors scored at least 6 points. Lucas Williamson and Ugwak say spending the last 5 years with the Ramblers has meant the world to them.
It's been nothing short of a blessing. I mean, we've had, an incredible run, an incredible time here at the university. It's hard to really think what these last 5 years really meant to me.
The Ramblers will travel to Cedar Falls this Saturday to face off against Northern Iowa. The 2 teams are tied for first in the Missouri Valley Conference. The winner of this game will decide the number 1 seed in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. For Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Andrea Barone.
Thanks, Andrea.
To keep up with all things RSL, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Loyola RSL. From all of us here at Rambler Sports Locker, I'm Chloe Morrissey.
And I'm Amelia Villhauer. And don't forget to turn out the lights.